Welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to do something a little different. I am going to be sitting in front of the camera and just speaking to it, which is something that I've never done before, so I definitely feel out of my element, but I'm going to try and get through this without being awkward, so just bear with me. Before I get into this video, I definitely want to just say that I am not a nutritionist or a personal trainer, so just kind of keep that in mind when listening to this video. I'm just going to explain what worked for me and kind of my story. So I'm just going to take it back to 2015. At that time, I was vegan. I had absolutely no idea. I did absolutely no research, is what I'm trying to say. At the time, I was in a very, very dark place. And because of that, I had lost a lot of weight. I had absolutely no appetite. So I was definitely gaining an excessive amount of weight. And when people would see me, they'd be like, Diana, you look so great, what are you doing? And when you get those kind of comments, they definitely get to your head. So I remember it getting to my head and just remember thinking like, okay, I gotta lose more weight, more weight, more weight. And it was almost like an obsession. That lasted a little while, and I was also doing yoga at that time, which I'm gonna insert a picture where you can see kind of how skinny I was. Growing up, I didn't play any sports or anything like that, so I was definitely not athletic, but I also don't think I was fat or skinny. I felt like I was just average. I don't think I ever even thought about that. So I had a friend invite me to the gym, and I remember going and just waking up the next morning and feeling sore, and just like I just loved that feeling. I loved being sore, and I kept going, but I really wasn't seeing any results. And I think that was because, like I said, I was vegan at the time. The way that I was going about it was completely wrong. I feel like if you're going to be a vegan, it needs to be for the right reasons, and I definitely was not doing it for the right reasons. Also wasn't getting the nutrition that I needed throughout the day. So I felt like that's why I was seeing absolutely no progress. I was thinning out, but I was not gaining any muscle because my protein intake was so low. I just wasn't aware of what I could eat that had protein. It just goes to show that I did absolutely no research. I decided that I was no longer going to be vegan and that I was just going to eat a crap ton of protein. I said it was just easier for me to take that route and not be vegan anymore. So that's what I did, and I knew I had to eat a lot of protein, but I had absolutely no idea how much protein I was supposed to eat. So at that time, I basically was eating a very protein-based diet. I was having hardly any carbs. I remember I was very scared of carbs because I had heard people say carbs are bad for you, carbs make you gain weight, so I just cut it off. Well, not completely, but almost. I think I would have 2 pieces of bread, and now looking back at it, it's just ridiculous because that's what I have now in one sitting. But I was just not aware. And yeah, so like I said, I would have a piece of toast in the morning with my breakfast, and then I would make, at the time I was working at a restaurant, so I would make myself a sandwich, but I'd make an open face sandwich so that I would only have to eat 1 slice of bread. And then for dinner, I don't think I really would eat carbs unless I was doing legs, because I don't know where I heard this from, but I remember watching a video and someone saying you shouldn't have carbs for dinner unless you're doing legs. I don't know why I believe this, but I did. So I wouldn't eat carbs unless I was gonna do or unless I had done legs or I was going to do legs. So I did that for a while, and I did see a lot of progress when it came to building muscle. I was definitely building a lot of muscle very quickly, but I didn't like the way my body was looking because I was gaining muscle, but I was also gaining a lot of weight, which I think it just goes back to the restriction that I had on myself, where I wouldn't have carbs throughout the week, or hardly any carbs, and the weekend would roll around and I just remember I would go crazy. I'd eat everything because those were my cheat days. So I remember I think I would eat all the carbs that I was supposed to eat in those 5 days and 2 days. And I don't know why my mentality was like, oh, you gotta eat everything, because once Monday comes around, you're not having any of this. So I would go crazy, and I feel like that was one of the reasons why I was gaining a lot of fat as well, along with my muscle. So like I said, I did this, I want to say, for like a year and a half. And I remember going to visit my mom, and she's just like, Diana, you look really thick. And it wasn't like the good kind of thick, it was almost like it was too much. And you know, when your mom says something, like, I feel like that's the only person that could tell you something, and you just kind of have to, you're like, okay, this my mom said it, so it must be real. And at that time, I definitely, I had made an Instagram account where I was like posting my fitness videos, what I was eating, stuff like that. And I just remember starting to look through my pictures and just kind of seeing myself in a different way. And I definitely saw that did get a lot thicker or wider, and I didn't like that look because that's not what my goal was. So I definitely knew that something was wrong, but I didn't know exactly what it was. And like I said, I had no one telling me what to do, what to eat, any of that. It was just stuff that I'd find online and follow, or looking through my pictures and just, like I said, seeing myself in a different way, in a different light. And at that time I was doing upper body, and I just remember my upper body growing so quickly. And I came across a picture, which I'm going to insert. And after I saw that picture, that's when I decided that I was no longer going to work out my upper body. So yeah, I haven't done any upper body workouts in a long time. I do a lot of body weight workouts, but I have not been in the gym lifting for upper body, because that's just not my goal. I'm 4'11", 5 feet on a good day, and for me personally, I don't like the way that I look when I'm very bulky, because it makes me look shorter. But like I said, that's just a personal thing. So like I said, I just stopped working upper body completely, and I ended up moving, and I ended up taking a break from the gym, and I was just kind of doing a lot of cardio based workouts. I was doing a lot of HIIT workouts at home. And then I ended up meeting Noura, which I was always friends with through Instagram, but I had never actually met her in person. And I remember seeing her in person in her transformation pictures, but seeing it in person was like a completely different thing. And I just remember being like, oh, what did you do? Like, how did you do this? And she basically broke it down for me and explained to me exactly what it is that she did, which is exactly what I do to this day, which is counting my macros. So I had seen this all over social media, but I had no idea how to go about it. I remember I tried to figure it out, but I got so stressed out because I could not figure it out, and I gave up altogether. And she just made it so easy for me. She gave me a lot of links to follow, but she also just did the math for me. It just made it, like I said, a lot easier for me. There is a calculator, which link where I will link down below in my description box, and you can click on it, and you basically just put in your height, your weight, your activity level, stuff like that, and it'll actually do the math for you, and it'll tell you exactly how many grams of protein, how many grams of carbs, and how many grams of fat you should be having in a day to reach your goal, which is what counting your macros is. So she did all of that for me, and I actually use an app to calculate everything that I eat, which is MyFitnessPal. It is a free app, which I'm sure a lot of people have, and you can actually adjust it to your calorie intake and the grams of protein, carbs, and fat that you should be having throughout the day, so that it's really easy for you to just plug it in. And if this is something you guys are interested in, I could definitely make a video of what I eat in a day and then how I input it in the app so you guys can see. So let me know if that's something you guys are interested in. But basically, that's how I figured out how much I should be eating, because like I said before this, I was definitely not eating enough carbs. I was eating maybe less than like a quarter of what I should have been eating throughout the day. And I know a lot of people say that once you start counting your macros, your food just becomes numbers, but for me it was definitely very eye-opening, because like I said, I was not eating enough carbs. I might have been eating way too much protein, and like I said, fats was like another thing that I tried to cut out. So I was like boiling my chicken, not using any oils, very boring. And I feel like when you have a diet that is very strict and very boring, you tend to fall out easily. So what I really like about counting my macros is that if I am feeling like I want to have a piece of chocolate, I will have a piece of chocolate. I'll just put it in the app and then I'll just follow my macros. I don't take it too serious, which is another thing. When you're doing this, you want to make it fun, and it just has to be something that's sustainable, because like I said, when you do diets that restrict you from having certain things, eventually your body is going to want those things, and eventually you're going to give in and just binge. So that's why if I'm feeling, like I said, like a piece of chocolate or some candy, I'll have it. So I started counting my macros before I went on a trip, and I'm gonna insert a picture of these pictures are 3 to 4 weeks apart, something like that. I will. Sorry, my camera died. I'm gonna try and finish this. When I first started counting my macros, I was pretty lost, so I actually went out and got a scale, which you can get at Target for about 10 bucks, I think, and it'll weigh your food so that it's very easy for you to plug it into the app and all that good stuff. And like I said, I can make a video using my scale so you guys can see how I do that. Like I said, this is what worked for me. It's definitely something that's sustainable, and I don't restrict myself from anything. So I don't really fall off track, which is something that I love, because I felt like I was constantly falling out when I was restricting myself from certain foods. Another factor that I felt definitely helped is intermittent fasting. I won't get into it too much, but you can look it up. But basically, I have my first meal at 11 and my last meal before 7 p.m. So you have an 8-gap window where you have all of your meals in between, and after that you are cut off. At first, you definitely do feel hungry, but I think after 2 weeks your body will adjust and you'll be totally fine and it'll be normal. So that is definitely another thing that I felt helped me. This video, if there's anything you take away from it, it is just to listen to your body. So now I don't do upper body, but I do lower body days. I try to get 2 days in the week. Sometimes I don't have time to do 2, so I'll do 1. But the other days I like to do HIIT workouts. I really like HIIT workouts because you're burning a lot of calories in a very short amount of time, which is awesome. So when I do them, they're about 15 to 20 minutes, depends on how I'm feeling that day. I feel like that has been helping me cut fat. So if you guys are interested in that, I can definitely make some videos of the HIIT workouts that I do. So with that being said, I think I'm gonna end this video now. I would definitely love if you guys left me comments, and if you guys have suggestions of videos you guys would like me to make, if you guys would comment that down below, and then I will definitely get to it. I'm not a professional. I'm still learning every single day what works for my body. So yeah, thank you for watching. Hopefully you guys like this video and I can continue to make these videos. So I'll see you guys then. Bye.